Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, October 27th, 2020 meeting of the Ashland Zoning Board of Appeals. We are meeting via Zoom video conference this evening, and in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised this meeting is being recorded and broadcast by WACA. The town of Ashland, in response to the COVID-19 coronavirus, is currently following the guidance from the Ashland Board of Health, the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread. And all town facilities are currently closed to the public with limited exceptions. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, all public meetings are being conducted remotely. We also have provided link information on the agenda that was posted online and at Town Hall, providing a link to members of the public who may wish to join us via video conferencing. I will now call the meeting to order. We have a very small agenda this evening. The first order of business will be the election of officers for the coming year. Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 12 provides that the Zoning Board of Appeals annually shall elect a chairman and a clerk for inasmuch as the terms of the members of the board commence on September 1st. We typically have selected or chosen officers during the first meeting that we conduct after that date. And October 27th is the first meeting we have had since September 1st. For the past year, I have served as chairman and Brian Forrestall has served as clerk. So the first order of business will be to select a chairman. And does anybody wish to step into the ring?
I make a motion that John remain chairman.
I second that motion.
I guess is there any discussion? If not, is there a vote? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, could everyone just
call by name.
state their name? Thank you.
Aye, John Trefethen, vote aye.
Aye, Nathan Band, vote aye.
Aye, Brian Forrestall, vote aye.
Aye, Stuart Siegel, vote aye.
Very good. The next order of business will then be for the position of clerk. Does anyone wish to make a motion for that position? Would anybody like to be the clerk for the coming year? The officers must come from the one of the three full members, which are myself, Brian Forrestall, and Stuart Siegel. So Brian or Stuart, would either of you like to be clerk?
I would decline that. I would support Brian in that position if he's willing to serve.
Brian,
Sure.
You did such a good job last time. Is there I will second that motion, Stu. And I, John Trefethen, vote in favor.
I, Stuart Siegel, vote in favor.
Aye, Brian Forrestall, vote in favor.
Aye, Nathan Band, in favor.
Very good. Okay, then I think that takes care of item number 2 on the agenda. Moving along to item number 3, which was a review and approval of the minutes for our last meeting, which occurred on August 18th, 2020. Does anyone have any proposed changes, questions, corrections to the minutes that Emma sent out last week? I did make one suggested change that was on line 41. And it was referencing that there may be a 40B application this fall. And I believe that grammatically, the F should be capitalized, so it should be capital FALL as opposed to a small f. So with that, it would make my fifth grade English teacher very proud. If no one has any objection, we'll make that change. Is there any other changes or questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended with that spelling change?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? I, John Trefethan, say yes.
I, Brian Forrestall, say yes.
I, Nathan Band, say yes.
And Stuart, you're going to abstain because you were not at the meeting, I assume?
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Okay, moving on to item number 4 on our agenda, staff updates and administrative matters. One of the administrative matters that we have tonight is that we are meeting with someone who has expressed an interest in joining the Zoning Board of Appeals. The Select Board Executive Assistant faxed a talent bank form to us last week for Charles Green, who I believe prefers to be called Chuck, if I am correct on that. And Chuck, if you want to unmute yourself so that we can hear you.
Okay.
There we go. The Select Board in the last couple of years has asked us to meet with people who are interested in serving on the Zoning Board of Appeals to answer any questions they might have, to get a little bit of background about their experience, why they want to be on the Zoning Board of Appeals, and then to make a recommendation to the Select Board concerning their interest. The appointment is made by the Select Board, and they simply look for, I guess, our input before the matter would then come before them. And Chuck, we have all seen your talent bank form, and if you'd like to say a few words about your interest in becoming an associate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, we'll be glad to hear you.
Okay, thanks. As you're aware, I have served on the Board of Assessors with the town for a number of years. I really enjoyed it. Part of the whole being a member of the town or a citizen of the town is enhanced by being, involved somewhat in town government. When this position became available, I got interested because it's an area where, I have some experience being a real estate appraiser for so many years, the zoning of the various towns around us. So I found it to be, it could be interesting to serve on the board. And how often do you meet was a question that I had, and what's the difference between associate member and a full-time member in terms of their input and voting issues? So there was a couple of questions that I had, whether
Sure. And
exactly into.
Very good questions. Our schedule is we meet on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month, starting at 7 p.m. when we have business before us. As you may have gathered from the minutes that we just approved, our last meeting was on August 18th. There haven't been any cases filed that have brought us back together, so we don't meet. Typically, the second Tuesday of the month is when, if there are going to be hearings, is when the first day of a hearing is scheduled for. And then on the fourth Tuesday, that's when, if matters are not finished, we reconvene. As far as the difference between members and associate members, the town has chosen that the ZBA be comprised of 3 members and 4 associate members. The members are appointed for 3-year terms, which are staggered, so that there is 1 member appointed each year. And the associate member terms are for 1 year. And all of the terms start on September 1st. And the difference in voting, all members and associate members are entitled to participate in the hearing, ask questions, etc., enter into deliberations. However, the statute, Chapter 40A, requires that only members, the 3 members, are allowed to vote on a matter. If there is a reason that a member, either through absence, conflict of interest, or some other recusing him or herself, then an associate member steps in and assumes the decision-making position. And when you're appointed to be an associate member, as I certainly expect you would be if you still wish to be, and hopefully you do, we will now have 2. Nathan Band is also an associate member. And what we try and do is, when an associate member steps in, is alternate, so that if Nathan does one case, then the next time there's a need for an associate member to step in and vote on a hearing matter, then the next assistant member would step up. The hearing that we just voted on and finalized at our August meeting, Nathan participated in that and was a voting member. Stewart had recused himself from the proceeding. So we would like to be able to have the associate members participate as voting members more frequently, but the statute is fairly clear, and I've been advised by town council that we need to abide by the statute requirements. But again, the associate members participate fully in the hearings, ask questions of the applicants, and basically participate fully up until the time we vote. Because we're only a 3-member board, in order to approve an application, it has to be a unanimous 3-person vote. If it's 2-1 in favor, the application is denied because it was not unanimous. So I hope I've answered your questions. If you have more, we'll be glad.
Yeah,
Stu and Brian, please speak up as well. I don't mean to monopolize the whole
two other-
conversation.
From my understanding is that you're all appointed, no one has to run for election, right?
Correct. We are appointed by the select board. And again, as I said, associate members are appointed for a 1-year term. And Stewart, Brian, and myself have been appointed for 3-year terms, which are staggered. Stewart was just reappointed for a 3-year term. I don't remember whether my term is up next year or the following year. Not that it particularly matters at this point. But there is no campaigning.
That's good, because that's one of the things that I found rather a pain was when you,
Mhm.
on the Board of Assessors, you had to get all the signatures every 3 years or so,
Mhm.
even though you were going to run it unopposed, you know.
Mhm.
The other question was, do you have any cases right now where you're in litigation because of, frustration from the part of any of the townspeople?
I don't believe so. Let me ask our Assistant Town Planner, Emma Snellings, who is our liaison with the Planning Department. Emma, we don't have, there's no litigation pending, is there?
No, not to my knowledge. There is no litigation pending.
Okay, I mean, we had a case a few years ago where there had been a Section 40B project with a decision, and they had appealed it to the housing agency, but that was resolved involving the Valentine estate up on 135, but nothing at present.
Yeah, so unless something was started before I started, that I'm
Right.
aware of. But since
How
I've been
long,
here,
how long, Emma, how long have you been working with, in association with the zoning board?
I've been with the town of Ashland for a year and a half.
Okay. Now, typically in a particular year, how many cases do you have come before you?
In my experience, just sort of off the top of my head, it can certainly vary. This year, there have been very few, and I'm guessing that's primarily because of the pandemic, and there's perhaps not a lot going on with respect to developers or homeowners wishing to do something that requires a special permit or a variance. And a couple of years ago, the Section 30B case was active. We were meeting twice a month for, I think that went on for a couple of years before it was finally decided.
Okay.
So it really, I mean, we're in essence, very similar to an adjudicatory body. We're unlike the planning board where developers and people have to come before and submit plans and whatnot. People come before us for special permits or variances, or if they're appealing a decision of the building commissioner. So we're very much at the just when someone has something to file for that, they come before us. We don't go out soliciting business.
I didn't think so. Okay. That answers all my questions, I guess.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Chuck?
Chuck, you said you were a realtor?
No, I was for three decades. I was a banker, and then when I left banking, I was a certified general real estate appraiser. I did commercial properties mostly, development, office buildings, golf courses, cell towers, a lot of very interesting, strange cases. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a great
All
background for this.
based in Massachusetts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Super.
Excellent. Any other questions for Chuck? Okay. Well, why don't we discuss what we want to do with respect to a recommendation to the select board. I don't think we have to take a formal vote on this. I don't believe we have in the past. And Emma's shaking her head no, so I think that's good, confirming hopefully what I'm saying. I think we should strongly recommend the select board appoint Chuck to a term as an associate member. Others' thoughts?
Oh, I agree with you, John.
And I
Stu?
concur.
And Nathan?
Yeah.
Okay, then, the process is I will forward an email to the select board tomorrow morning, recommending that, recommending you for a position as an associate member on the ZBA. My understanding of the procedure is that the select board will invite you to attend a meeting. I believe they're still being via Zoom, where they will ask you a few questions. I suspect they probably already know you, so there may not be too many questions. And assuming they appoint you, you then have to go and be sworn in by the town clerk. If she's back from a well-deserved vacation after the voting next week and all of the hard work that she's had to do. But that's the process, and hopefully we can get you up on board before we have our next case.
Good.
Whenever that may be.
Nice to meet you all. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to meet you, and thank you for stepping up. Obviously, being on the Board of Assessors for many years, you have donated your time and services to the town for many years, and it's nice to have another volunteer continuing here with the ZBA.
Good. Nice to meet you all.
Yep.
Nice
thanks,
to meet
Chuck.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. See you later.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Emma, anything else on our staff updates and administrative matters section?
No, I do not have any updates for the board.
Okay.
Great. I make a
No
motion to adjourn.
cases filed or ready to go. Brian has made a motion to adjourn. Is there a second to that?
I second that motion.
I, John Trefethan, vote in favor.
I, Brian Forrestall, vote in favor.
I, Nathan Band, in favor.
And I, Stuart Siegel, vote in favor.
Very good. Thank you,
Good
everybody.
night, everyone. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you, WACA. Bye-bye.